Hey, Joanna.
Hi, Mike.
Hello. Joanna's joining us here to talk about the preparation for a negotiation. So before you go into the negotiation itself, what do you need to do? What do you need to be aware of? And what do you need to have available to you to make that negotiation successful? So if I share my screen, what you should now see in front of you is the hit list. So we're going to talk through each aspect of this document. Starting with the top, you'll see there's a section called Common Ground. Now, what is the common ground? Well, you are there for a mutually beneficial agreement. You are there because you want to collaborate with the other side. You are there because there is something you can achieve when you work together that is either harder or impossible to achieve without working with them. So the common ground is the thing that really brings you together. Therefore, it's important to establish what this is and in the negotiation, clearly describe the common ground in a way that creates a positive atmosphere throughout the negotiation. Remember from our first video, we are not fighting with our counterparts, we are collaborating with our counterparts. Joanna, any questions on the common ground?
Yeah, what is the purpose of the common ground?
Yeah, so the purpose is really just to create this atmosphere. It's to avoid the kind of default negotiation setting, which many people assume, which is this competitive for me to win, you have to lose, and vice versa atmosphere. The common ground is a shared goal. It's the reason you're there. It's the reason you spent all of this time getting to this point, and it's the thing that's going to drive both sides to collaborate in the short term and also in the long term.
Mhm.
So the common ground is incredibly important to think about. Hopefully, the other side has thought about it well, but as long as you have and as long as you can put that clearly onto the table, then it's an excellent beginning to any negotiation. So you prepared your common ground. We then move into the hit list itself. And the HIT, that's an acronym. So you can see the first section there is what you have to achieve. That's the H. If you don't get this, we're going to walk away. So this is really your bottom line. This is exactly what you must get from the negotiation. And you can see it's divided into our position and their position as well. Joanna, any questions on the hit list?
Yeah, what's interesting for me is their position. Yeah.
Mhm.
So how do we assume their position? Based on what?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, we have to do our homework. So oftentimes when you negotiate, this is a discussion that you have after multiple discussions with the organization or with your counterpart. If you're negotiating personally for with, let's say, your manager or let's say a different team or a different department, then you're already going to have a lot of knowledge around what you think their position is. So you're going to have some understanding, and it's really, really important that not only do you write down and think about what your position is, but you also, as to the best of your abilities and the best of your knowledge, make assumptions around what their position is. What do you think they have to achieve? What do you think they will not, sign a contract to unless they get? It's really important to highlight that this is an assumption. So when you go into the negotiation, do not just assume that you know everything and make an offer straight away. They are assumptions, so you really need to go through the process, which we'll look at in the coming videos. But it's great preparation to at least try and figure out, with the knowledge you can gather, what you believe their have to achieve will be. The intent to achieve, then, the second section, this is the I in the hit list. As you see, it says going for gold. So this is what else can you add on top? You've got the fundamental foundation, maybe the initial thing that drives both parties to be there is the have to achieve. But what can you do that will take this from a good agreement to an amazing agreement? What can you add on top that's going to make the pie even bigger? So really, really useful to think about the additional benefits that you can bring to the table and the additional benefits that you believe the other side can bring to the table as well. The third section at the bottom then is the tradables. As you see, it says, if you do this for us, then we can do this for you. So this is the section where you're really highlighting the things you are willing to trade, the things that you have to offer to give away to them, and what you imagine they're going to offer you. So this could be things like this could be financial areas, this could be any other benefits you think they might have. Joanna, any questions here?
Yeah. How many tradables do you need to have prepared before going into the negotiation? How
Mm.
many of them do you need? This is my first question. And there's another question. Um, what kind of tradable? What are these tradables? What can they
Mhm.
be? Can I can you give me some examples?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So to answer your first question, you'll see in the document in front of you, there's 3 bullet points per section. Now, that does not mean we want exactly 3 points per section. That is just a template. There could be potentially 1 point in each section, or there could be 10. Of course, if there's 10 per section, then maybe the negotiation is a little bit too broad, but three is just there as a guideline. As for the tradables, it really is the more the merrier. And what you'll find is that there'll be the basic tradable, which is potentially something around price, potentially something around delivery times, exclusivity, something like that. But then there's all of these out of the box tradables that you can think about. So, for example, marketing and advertising. I mentioned exclusivity, staff bonuses and discounts, expanding the operation into different regions, anything like that. So, as far as tradables are concerned, the sky really is the limit, and you can absolutely do the same thing with their position. What do you think they're going to trade or they're going to offer to trade? And what ideas do you have for extra bonus things that they could offer you that would really broaden that pie? Because the whole process of the hit list is not only to establish those fundamentals, but to give us the opportunity to think about how this agreement and this relationship can go to the next level.
Interesting. So when we talk about tradables, you're thinking about giving them something of tremendous value for them, but that doesn't cost you so much resources or money or whatever it would be. Yeah. So you're thinking of tradables in terms of value that you can offer to the customer or to the partner or whatever the negotiation is about. And try to give them as much value as possible with as little effort as possible from your side, I'm assuming.
So that's absolutely true. Yes, of course, the more value you can give them without losing anything yourself, the better. But of course, oftentimes they will have their own demands and requirements that you might need to sacrifice slightly more in order to fulfill. But as you said, yes, it's all about providing maximum value to them, but getting maximum value from the agreement. So absolutely, yes, the further you can push that, the further you can think outside of the box for solutions and ideas for things that you can trade and things that you can ask for, the better that final agreement is going to be. Just to reiterate one point I made, as I said, this is a preparation tool. So when you enter the negotiation, you cannot enter assuming that you know everything and assuming that the end agreement is going to be exactly what you've written down in your preparation. That is never the case, but as far as preparation goes, this is 10 times better than not having thought about it. So absolutely prepare your common ground and complete your hit list for any negotiation you're going to have.